Hello everybody, so we are going to be diving right in here to the new campaign trail. Amazing game. It's actually pretty a stellar game, and it's really exhilarating. I have a good time playing it. So in this scenario, basically, I am Al Gore. I am playing to seek re-election as President of the United States. This is a scenario where hypothetically that one judge at the national level decided to go forward with the recount in Florida and put aside Katherine Harris, the then Secretary of State of Florida, and I think at the time, 2004, still current Secretary of State. And if I'm just going to say it, the 2000 election was rigged. You could say Nader voters, all of this stuff. No, Florida would have went for Gore. It would have went for Gore. And it was going to go for Gore. And it was probably one of the most lopsided elections in American history. I also think the 2024 election was kind of shady as well, with Elon Musk and all of these, big giveaways, big checks, $1 million checks to sign his super PAC. And, it's really, disconcerting and really unassuring, to say the least, when it comes to that matter. But anyways, I am playing as Al Gore. This is a scenario, like I said, I won Florida. Al Gore, I am Al Gore in this scenario. We won Florida, and we are seeking re-election 4 years later in 2004, and we are going against John McCain, who we worked with throughout our presidency. Al Gore, this is a scenario where he signed many executive orders involving the environment. As you can see, here are the top issues, the economy always being prevalent as, the most important salient issue. Terrorism, which was popular, of course, in the 2004 area because it was basically started and stirred up by 9/11, of course, very tragic event that killed a lot of people. And I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been handled a lot better. It would have still happened if Gore was president. I'll just say that it would have still happened, probably. And in this scenario, this game is speculating that it would have still happened. But Gore definitely handled it a lot more maturely than Bush would have handled it. Instead of going after all these countries, we take more dovish approaches while maintaining our hawkish, in between the lines. So we can have that, the distance from each one come to the middle and say, hey, we are going to make sure that Al-Qaeda is destroyed. We are going to make sure that Al-Qaeda never has any ability to have weapons of mass destruction. And we don't know that all the way at this point, so we're going to see the results. Basically, I am going to click on a state. I have gotten a recent boost in the polls. I basically ran a campaign on healthcare, very, very liberal campaign, very pragmatic campaign, but not so much on social issues. It pretty much just because abortion wasn't really a big issue in the 2004 elections and the early 2000s, the beginning of the 21st century. It wasn't that critical and preeminent of an issue as it is today. And it's probably going to stay an issue in the 2028 election just because, unfortunately, Donald Trump's ultra-right conservative justices got rid of 50 years of progress, and most Americans are against that. Most Americans, even in the early 2000s, were for Roe versus Wade, think that the states should decide when it comes to weeks and everything like that, but there should be definitely some, there should, in my opinion, the federal government has the obligation to ensure that it is not banned in any state, that abortion is not completely banned in every state, because some abortions are crucial, especially with a miscarriage. A woman, they claim to be pro-life, but then they sit there and defend a woman who, is bleeding out and has a very bad infection. And, it could kill the fetus, and also kill the mother in the process of that. So that is very, very important that states do have that ability to seek emergency essential health care like this. And I would personally, if I had a wife, I would never have an abortion. I would never, unless of course, you know, something went terribly wrong, or like rape or incest. But I believe that opportunity should be open, and it should not be able to dictate other people's, lives, and litigate people, put a chain on people and say, hey, you cannot do this because it doesn't align with my religious values. That's not how to do it in America. And that's what Al Gore gets at in this campaign, is me getting, so we don't know, this is all, again, hypothetical, because, again, we'll never know what an Al Gore presidency actually looks like. He will never run again, unfortunately. This was the biggest missed opportunity. This was probably the best, quote-unquote, losing candidate in the 21st century, right after Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris ran a great campaign as well. Very, very populist campaign, pro-working class tax cuts campaign. Very much along the likes of the Al Gore 2000 campaign in modern day perspective. So, anyways, instead of blabbing for another hour, I'm going to go ahead and visit Ohio, where we are down by only 1 point. Let's see the Electoral College map. We currently, estimated support comes down to the very wire. Let's see here. We have 293 electoral votes. That's 23 over the needed, the necessary, the minimum 270 you need to win the Electoral College, and to John McCain's 245. And we are leading in the popular vote polling. So obviously polling and exit polling does not matter. It depends on who you're polling, but we have, people say we've advanced since then. We'll never have an accurate description of how all of America feels. We have a population, a current population, 2025, about 330 million. And it was probably in the 200s. It's quite less then, but visit Ohio. Election night is almost here. Which states are you going to appear in? Flying home to Tennessee to watch the votes come in? That, I did not read that right at all, I don't think. But no, I'm not going to go to Tennessee. I'm going to I think I might abandon my home state. We got to win Ohio. We got to win Ohio to win this election. We didn't win it 4 years ago, but we're going to win it this time. I don't care. Florida is probably out of reach in this cycle because they're very, very hawkish. Very, very hawkish, and they've always been. So, and they say they're traditional and moral values. Yeah, being hawkish is not traditional and moral values, so we'll just say, we'll spend the day in Ohio. This is a battleground state, and if we win it, that's the election. We will dedicate and, have vigilant eyes on Ohio. So let's see, while it might not have voted for you in 2000, Ohio could still very well swing the election. Good luck. This is my very first time playing as Al Gore in the 2004 election scenario, if he were to run for re-election, by the way. So this is my very first time. Election night has arrived. Settle and wait for the results, however long it may take. Best of luck. So let's see the results come pouring in. The election tally. Indiana, not surprising. Very, very hawkish state. Very, very whatever you call it, isolationist state, whatever. Back then, the Republican Party's pretty much lost all of its values in modern day. Let's see here, Kentucky, we did pretty good there, somewhat, about 18 points, a little bit. We only lost about 2% of our support from the last election, no surprise there. Georgia, we did horrible again, obviously, very southern, pro-KKK state, so we're not going to do good there. We did very good in these upper northeast states. We won Pennsylvania. Oh my God, we won Pennsylvania by a huge margin already. I think we're going to win this election. I think we're getting our popcorn. Me and Heidi are having a good time watching these election results back in our home state of Tennessee. Heidi's my wife, by the way, Al Gore. So we got Michigan. We got Michigan right there. We got Wisconsin. We got even the hawkish somewhat state right here. We got New Hampshire with its 4 electoral votes. We flipped that state blue. That state didn't go blue the last time. We flipped that blue. We retained control. We got Iowa by a bigger margin, by about 2.8%. We retained New Mexico. We did a very good job. Oh shit, we won! Congratulations, you won this year's election. Click OK to review the rest of the returns, or skip straight to the final results. We hope you have a nice victory speech prepared to your supporters. I wholeheartedly do. I'm so glad we won. So that must have meant that we did win Ohio narrowly. We must have won Ohio, or did we not? Did we win Ohio? No, we did not. Huh. We did not win Ohio. We lost it by 0.2%. So there goes the bellwether state of Ohio early on. So, yeah. Well, actually, the bellwether kind of went away in 2000. It was the first time. So that means if in this scenario where Florida flipped blue and we won the last election, that means Ohio already broke the records for voting for the losing presidential candidate when it comes to the electoral college. This was in 2000 for the first time since the 1960s. So that had been 40 years. Now it is 44 years, and it's basically like 2020 Ohio playing out sooner. It was going to happen eventually, based on, the education level in Ohio is very much, basically going downhill. Let's just say that. I'm from Ohio, so I know how it is. I know it's a pretty, I don't know, we're going downhill pretty fast. Devastating, actually. Very pessimistic. But anyways, we have some of these liberal states. Colorado, we flipped blue. We flipped blue. Colorado. I am very proud of Colorado and how far they have come, especially modern day. But here, they did it a little bit faster, actually voting Democrat. And they actually voted Democrat in the 2004 election for Senate. In the real 2004 election for Senate, which was John Kerry versus, John Kerry versus George George W. Bush Jr., the horrible one, the very pro-war, very irresponsible one, that had a 70% disapproval rating when he left office. So Al Gore pretty much keeps up the momentum. He has that southern roots. He has that appeal, that charisma. He lost his home state again by about the same margin, so it didn't really shift any. Basically just stayed the same from 4 years ago. And basically what secured our victory was Colorado. So God bless. God bless Colorado. We probably did very, very good in these southeast portions around this area where my cursor is, and we probably worked our way good up here. And the urbanized areas, the areas that are very getting industrialized and getting, because Colorado is, around this time specifically, is gaining a lot of population. We lost Nevada, I'm assuming. Yep, Nevada. We lost Nevada. I was aiming for Nevada. I was hoping we'd win Nevada. That map would have looked a lot more clean if we would have gotten this huge chunk of Nevada. Of course, land doesn't vote, and it doesn't. That's a fact. People don't register that. They kind of, ignore that matter of fact. So let's see some of these. North Carolina. Yep, pretty much stayed the same. But actually, we did better than John Kerry did in real time. Can you imagine that? We did better than John Kerry did here, even though his vice presidential pick was John Edwards, which was from North Carolina. It's probably because Gore really appeals to some of these southern states. We still lost Arkansas. Bill Clinton won this state in 1996. But Al Gore is definitely not a Bill Clinton. He passes on some of the values, the credence that of the surplus, the historic 40-year surplus, or 30-year surplus, and basically we're fulfilling on our promises on using that surplus to give tax cuts to the working class, the middle class, and encouraging anti-welfare. I mean, not necessarily anti-welfare, but like making sure that it expires so that people that are temporarily on welfare, and this is what I believe as well as a person, Wyatt Tomlin. So departing from Al Gore, I believe that welfare is a very, very important program. Medicaid and all this stuff, it's very, very important. But it should be temporary. People do abuse it. But Donald Trump is slashing it, very unchecked. He's just irresponsibly, illicitly, like literally just slashing it. people like who absolutely desperately need it, people who are disabled even. They don't have it now because or not now because it hasn't went into effect yet. But rural hospitals are closing, and particularly across these red welfare states. You know, it's so funny that Republicans are against welfare, but if you look at their states, if you look at the states with the highest percentage of people on welfare, it's all Republican states. It's states like Arkansas. It's states like Mississippi. It's states like Tennessee. It's states like West Virginia. West Virginia is a big one. It's states like Florida. It's states like Louisiana. It's even states like Georgia, South Carolina. All these states, the Deep South, very, very low, you know, they kind of just expect to ride on the federal government. Oh, low taxes because we're stingy, you know. Meanwhile, these blue states are paying a hell of a lot in federal taxes. They're actually chipping in more than they receive. And that's good. That's a good thing. That's good that they should be doing that. That's what they should be doing, because that's the balance of power that America provides, and that's why we are the best country on earth, and we always will be. Let's see here. Oregon, we improved on our margin. We only won this by less than 1% last time. Remember that? It came real close. We actually expand on that. Got some of our liberal, pragmatic, progressive roots in here. We galvanized and we mobilized a lot of those voters that came out for us there. California, let's see how good we did there. We did pretty decent there, 14%. We improved on our margin of victory from Bill Clinton and from last time as well. Maryland, we did very good, 20.7% margin. I don't know if that's an improvement but I know we did improve in Vermont. Oh my God, look how much we improved in Vermont. Yeah, because this was only like a 14 or 11 point victory for Gore in 2000. Now look at it. Jesus Lordy. Yeah, let's see. Florida. Yeah, we did pretty bad at Florida. Alright. Final results. Let's see. Congratulations. You have beaten back the Republicans once more, ensuring 16 years of Democrats in the White House. While many expected this, it doesn't lessen the sweetness of your victory. And the next bitter defeat inflicted onto Republicans for 2008. It seems Hillary Clinton will most likely make a bid for the nomination, but Lieberman might take a shot. Lieberman's kind of a piece of crap, honestly. But I chose him because I wanted to stick with my VP. I don't like Lieberman in real life, though. Like me, personally. I don't like Lieberman. I think he's horrible. I think he's shifted to the right, and he's pretty much gotten corrupt by Congress, more or less. Very staunch. You know, he even supported Trump. I wonder why. So he can get some more tax breaks, some of them good tax breaks that the rest of us should be getting, the working class, the middle class. But nope, they don't get them. The richest 20% get them. That ain't fair. That ain't fair whatsoever, especially with our debt now. But back then, if this was the case, we just barely very watered, like a little bit elevated, because we were going to go in debt whoever won the 2000 election, whether it be Al Gore or George Bush. Of course, it was a lot more with Bush because of them big tax cuts and deregulation for huge businesses and for the rich. Once again, not for the middle class. Well, actually, more so for the middle class than Donald Trump's. Donald Trump's isn't at all for the middle class, but some of them actually trickled down somewhat from 2000. But still, trickle-down economics, I think, is a scam as well. And it's not something that has worked in the past. So why would we keep doing that? That's the definition of insanity. Oh, shit. Sandwiches. We got 61 million votes. Holy hell. John McCain received 59 million votes. We really turned up the base here. This was probably the highest turnout in a long time. Overall details. Let's see here. Historical. What the hell is this? This game, historical. What the hell? It's weird as hell. Okay. That is the end of our game. We can go to results by state and see the specifics. So, we'll go to Ohio. We lost there just by about 12,000 votes. 12,000 votes, and therefore, John McCain got all 20 electoral votes. That's another thing. The electoral college should be abolished. I don't even give a shit what you think. Yeah, it should be abolished. You can argue with the wall, buddy. Let's see. Oh, dang, we did 500, almost 500,000 votes of a lead there in Michigan. Iowa, we did pretty good there. 40, 50,000 votes of a victory. Missouri, how much did we lose Missouri by? Dang, less than 100,000. So we did decent in Missouri. We did, yeah, decent, about the same as 4 years ago. Let's see here. Let's see Texas, cause hell. Oh, Texas. Oh, same old Texas. Nasty. Al Gore. Yep, about 15,000 votes, and that's the decisive factor of this election. We literally won Colorado and we won. I thought we were going to win Ohio. I spent the whole day in Ohio for nothing. But, alright, thank you guys for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. I'm very proud of this video. Like I am of all of them. I think I'm very eloquent and meticulous. So, we'll go ahead and end this video. Thank you guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace. Love, not hate, guys. Love, not hate.